All right. Well, we're about 1 minute early for this community forum, so we'll just give people a second to hop on if they'd like to. Okay. Well, we'll get started. So good afternoon to our Laval Academy family. Thank you so much for tuning into what I hope is a successful and informative community forum. I'll just give you a little bit of background on how this all came about. As you know, on almost a daily basis, there are updates and corrections and changes to information that we need as educators, as students and parents. And this information comes from the governor, it comes from the state education department, our county offices, and as parents, some of the information comes from the school. So my goal today is to give you as much updated information on this platform as I can. If this method works for our community and people like this method, we can continue these kinds of updates. So we'll see. First and foremost, Laval Academy and the Board of Education firmly believes in equity for all students. We believe that our job is advocating for the educational, social, and emotional, and all-around care for our students. Every decision we make is based on how we can bridge any gaps students and families are facing. We believe that all those who have the power to do so should be part of the structure that only school can provide. The daily familiarity of faces, the space for valuing discovery, learning, and discussing ideas. So, beginning, survey results. On Monday, I posted a survey on our Facebook page. We had 143 people answer the survey in less than 2 days. So what a great turnout. Thank you so much. I'm just going to go over some of the results that helped me formulate what I was going to talk about today. Overall, 40% of the people who responded said they're doing very well, and 60% said they're doing okay, which actually is quite good for the situation that we're all in. When I asked specifically of areas that people needed more support in, 11% said resources for staying busy, 9% said technology help, 13% said help with homework or communication with a teacher, 4% said food delivery, and 2% said household items. So we're using these results to reach out individually to families. We've been doing that throughout the week, and we'll continue to do it next week to make sure, again, that we're bridging any of the gap that you're facing right now. In terms of resources, what we're doing is creating a document with a lot of different links to resources for families. There's so much out there, and we're hoping to have a one-stop shop resources page for families. We're not adding instructional resources in that because I think we can all agree that there are plenty of resources coming from your teachers. Your teachers honestly never stop working to engage you into reaching out with you, and they miss you and they want to talk to you and see you. So we'll leave the instructional piece up to the instructional experts. Feeding our families, I wanted to discuss that briefly. First, I need to send a big thank you out to our cafeteria staff. As many of you know, we are without a cafeteria manager right now, but the women in the cafeteria and Tom have used what they learned over the years from Mr. Fuller and have really stepped up to the plate. As of today, we have delivered over 3,000 meals to our families. This also wouldn't be possible without the efforts of Mrs. Amy Green. She's our transportation director. All of our bus drivers are transportation aides, and are dozens of teacher volunteers who come twice a week to help us feed our families. So thank you very much to them. Speaking of these meals, if you are one of the families who receive meals from school, please put out a cooler, a tote, a laundry basket, or something so that we can leave your food for you. We've been knocking on your door, we've been handing food into the house, and we don't mind doing that, but we really want to help protect you and protect our wonderful volunteers from any potential spread of illness. So we'll still knock on the door and let you know that we've arrived, but we would like you to help us with that. If you have any questions about the food program and you're a family that isn't on the food program but would like to be considered, please contact Mrs. Green at 315-376-7212. All right, so on to testing. This is something that information comes out on a regular basis on this, so we're really trying to keep up with it. So as you know, 3 through 8 tests are canceled, which was a fantastic idea from the state. We really appreciate them making that decision. AP testing will be held May 11th through the 22nd. This year, the test will be administered in a 45-minute online format as opposed to the traditional 3-hour session. So this information was shared with students last week after an AP webinar. And if you don't have access to high-speed internet and you are scheduled to take an AP course or assessment, please contact the office because we may be able to help you out. The ACT is still scheduled for June 13th, but that's subject to change depending on where we are with this pandemic. The SAT was canceled and students were notified by the College Board. The next opportunity will be at Watertown High School in June. Beaver River has also been named an August testing center. So that is also an option for our students. And Regencies are canceled for the year. So that is something I've never experienced, obviously. And we are very thankful to the state for giving school districts local control over this. But I'm just going to read you a brief statement from the state so that you understand where we're heading with this. So because of the cancellation of Regents exams, the department has modified the requirements for a high school diploma, credential, and endorsement. These modifications apply to all students enrolled in grades 7 through 12 during the 2019-2020 school year who were intending to participate in one or more of the June 2020 Regents exams. So students who, during the June 2020 examination period, would have taken one or more Regents examinations will be exempt from passing the assessments in order to be issued a diploma. That is about as much leeway as we could ever ask for. We're very thankful for that. All right, moving on to spring break. What happened to our spring break? So this is spring break and then continuity of instruction. Everyone wonders what happened to spring break. So if you've been paying attention, our governor has been on television a lot lately. Almost every time he is on, he issues a new executive order. So since March 7th, he has issued 15 executive orders. And school districts are constantly trying to react to this, to plan for this. Information changes from executive order to executive order. So we're doing our very best to keep our teachers and our families informed of what the expectations are going forward. So with one of the more recent executive orders, the governor was very clear that what would have been our spring break, school districts must make sure 3 things happen. So first, we must continue instruction for all students during that week. So for LACS, we are taking this opportunity to do some creative things for our students. You can expect fun activities, experiments, competitions, or other creative assignments. Second, we must also continue our food delivery program. And this process has been going very well, and we will continue to do that every week of this closure. And then third, we must help to assure all individuals who work in an essential field have access to childcare. So I want to be sure that all of our families know that Hand in Hand in Lowville has a lot of openings for childcare. I want to highlight that if you are a person who is in the field of medicine, emergency response, police, law enforcement, you can contact school and we can help facilitate childcare for you, or you can call Jennifer Bleakley, directly at Hand in Hand. She's the executive director. Her number is 315-376-9414. Next is grades. What are we going to do about grades? So report cards for the 3rd marking period should be coming out next week. And so what does that mean? Because we weren't in school for the whole 3rd marking period. First, grades collected up to March 13th, which is when we closed, will be used for the 3rd marking period. Anything after that will not be used, unless the grade helps the students. So as an example, we have a student, let's say, who didn't turn in an assignment prior to the 13th, but was able to make that up during the closure. That would be used to improve the student's grade. Our motto is to do no harm. The reason that we are not collecting grades is because we are not able to absolutely ensure equity to access of instruction. So moving forward, we will be trying to level the playing field by supplying additional technology to those who need it, not necessarily want it, but need it, assisting with finding access to the internet for those who currently do not have access. And with that said, we are identifying students who fall into this category and are trying to remedy the situation with a plan for success. We want to be absolutely sure we are assessing and measuring what students can do during this closure instead of measuring a student's access to technology. So we won't stop until we find a way. So I want to take this opportunity to say a couple of other things, and then I'll start to answer any questions that may have popped up during this time. So I'm not a doctor, I'm not in the medical field, but I can tell you that I believe in the power of science, and I believe that we have an obligation to abide by the recommendations of those in the medical field. Please be responsible. Governor Cuomo, in one of his executive orders, said, "We underestimate this virus at our own peril. Now is not the time to slack off on social distancing and other measures to minimize possible exposure." Our own Ashley Waite from Lewis County Public Health, who that organization has done such an amazing job for our county, and our county manager, Ryan Pache, their information and their facts and their transparency has been fantastic. And Lewis County Health System with Jerry Care, I can't say enough. They've been very supportive. She reminds us of the importance of continued social distancing. We know this is difficult for everyone, but crucial to keep our case numbers down. She says, "We must stay diligent and not let our guard down." Another point to make is we are now encouraging everyone to wear a homemade cloth mask when they go into a public setting where social distancing may be difficult. So also on our resource page, we'll have recipes or directions for how to make a cloth mask. We have teachers who are doing it. We have secretaries who are doing these. So if you have any skill in that, which I don't, but you'll learn how to make it. And then the North Country Prenatal Perinatal Council also wants to mention that health insurance navigators are able to assist individuals and families in New York State with enrollment and or renewals in health insurance through the New York State of Health Marketplace. So we strongly encourage anyone who has lost employer-based insurance, is experiencing a reduction in income, even temporary, or is struggling to pay their health insurance premiums to contact them. Their number is 315-907-7513. And then lastly, before I start taking questions and answering comments, which there don't. That's right, I'll get to you. Katie's there, thank you very much. So your daily to-do list, I took this from our good friends at Indian River, but it's so simple and it's so good. First, number one, read often. Adults and kids, the same, read often. Number two, solve a problem every day. Number three, make something. Make art, make food, anything like that. Move your body. Sometimes what students don't remember or realize is how much they move in school. I know it feels like we sit a lot because we have those 40-minute classes, but you're moving from class to class. You have PE. In elementary, you have recess. So please get out and move your body. Play as much as you can. And then lastly, connect. We're social beings. We need to connect with each other. Texting doesn't count. Call someone, FaceTime someone, have that personal connection. So finally, it's true that every day we wish we were back in school. I know I miss seeing the students, the employees, and the fans at our sporting events. I don't think our building could feel so empty. Our cleaning crew and maintenance team have everything ready for your return. And I wait with growing anticipation for a return to the halls of LACS. Until then, we will keep our standards high and remember that the goal is not perfection, but a wholeness anchored in grateful living in knowing what you have. Greg Boyle. So in ending, I just have one comment from Katie Zare. She's an amazing young lady, but she said NERCL is a resource to let people know they are there for them as well. Absolutely, NERCL is a great resource. You can find their information online, and I'm sure Katie can help you with that. But it doesn't look like I have any other comments right now, but I would like some feedback. So if you liked this format, would you give us some feedback? I can put another survey out tomorrow on Facebook to see how you liked it. If you do like it, we'll continue to bring you updates like this on a regular basis. And if this didn't work, we'll try another format to get you information. But in the meantime, we will move forward in unity. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a very happy Easter. And I cannot wait to one day see you all back at school. Take care.